Alright guys, I'm going to make a video on how to drive the Panther. I have seen in a lot of situations that people just drive them like a Sherman or a Slow Tiger, and it's a bit of a shame because you can actually do some pretty fast movements with a Panther. So first I want to show some simple mechanics. The first mechanic, as a lot of people are aware, is that you can actually, while upgrading the gear, when gear up, you can make a fast curve. So let me show you in this situation. We have a curve to the right side, and in some cases you are going to need a faster curve than this, right? But if you just upgrade the gear, you have a boost when curving. That's the first thing to notice. Now the other one is that you can do this actually pretty fast. So let's say gear 2, gear speed 3, down to 2, up to 3, and you have a curve. Up to gear 4, and you can finish the curve even though you are increasing the speed. One of the things a lot of people know as well is that from gear 1 you can straight up go all the way to gear speed 4. Now, I'm going to be driving around slightly around the Hurtgen map, so people notice how I'm actually driving. Now, one thing that very few people notice is that you can actually do a fast curve without accelerating on gear speed 4. So, for example, I'm about to collide here and I want to turn right. I'm not going to make it, but if I stop accelerating, I have half a second where I can start making the curve faster, just like this. Then again, I'm going to do here on the left side. I'm not going to make it, but it's basically lifting the finger from W to stop accelerating for half a second and then pressing it again, so you can have again the high RPMs and the engine does not drown, so you won't have to go back to gear speed 1. So notice that with this technique you should always have an RPM above 2500. That's my recommendation. You can go down to 2000, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's kind of risky unless you practice quite a bit. So let's drive around for a while in this map. I'm going to do it at high speed, and let me know what you guys think about it. I will continue this video until I hit my first tree or obstacle and I cannot move anymore. Now going downhill, you can make a fast change of gears as well, down to gear 3, down to up to gear 4, just like this. So I see a lot of situations where people get stuck passing this area, and it's just a bit of practice, going down one gear towards 3 and then up again instantly towards gear 4. So let me show you the situation. Gear down 3, gear up 4, and just like that. Now there are some places in the Hurtgen map that are pretty easy to drive around, especially on the roads like this. But soon we're going to get into a road intersection where I have to apply this technique several times in a row. First I will have to go to the right side, then right side again, and do it once more towards the left. Just a time for reference. Alright, now we are approaching the intersection. We have a wreckage on the right side, so we are forced to down gear, up gear, end of the road, down gear, up gear, then again. Here is just the technique that you are lifting the finger on the W for just a second. And this is basically how you can avoid several obstacles while still maintaining a high speed. Remember guys, the biggest defense that you will have against ATs and tanks, it's not the armor of the tank itself, which is at the moment quite poor, especially on the turret and the cupola. So if you are going from one place to another, try to do it as fast as possible. Another recommendation would be, of course, just practice. Get to know the maps, drive them around if you wish so in an empty map, in an empty server, like I am doing it right now. And you will get a better feeling of how to drive it. Of course, at the moment it's really simple, since we have no ATs chasing us. And remember that the first time that you are going to get stuck, you will most likely get destroyed by the random ATs. Whoops. Yeah, my bad for this one. This is the part of the video where I start the failure. As long as you don't get the tank completely stuck on this map, consider it a win. Sometimes you will find shovels on the way, or tiny little fences that are just barely visible above the ground, and any of those can completely stack a tank, not to mention the trees and roads themselves. Now, for those of you who actually paid attention for some reason, when you stop accelerating by stop pressing the W and then swiftly pressing it again on a curve, you pass from 26 kilometers per hour to 27. Now, I don't know the reason of this, since you cannot do so in a straight line. And for that information, we would need some answer from the developers, since not even I can figure out why they did it in this way. Now I will turn towards the left side. So we go to the barn. Then after the barn, I will turn 180 and I will show you that you can use the technique of stop pressing the W on a really steep downhill, and you can still pull off some curves for road adjustments. Stop pressing the W and you should be able to correct the route so you don't hit the sides. Then again, the most simple and efficient way to down gear and up gear is press Ctrl just one time for the down gear, and after that keep Shift pressed, since some situations when you try to spam it you might miss the very first milliseconds for the up gear, and you might forget to keep spamming the shift, so you can just keep it pressed. Now there is a possibility that with a Panther you can actually drift in circles, let's say Tokyo drift style, but for it it's much more complicated, since you need how to say it, let's say dominate all of these mechanics and repeat them several times in a row, so that once the Panther starts going to the left and you force it more to the left with several up gears over and over again, you will eventually start drifting. Later I might make a video for you guys if you're interested. Now on one of the final parts, let's try to do a 180 turn. There we go. If the path is too narrow, remember that you can repeat over and over the down gear and up gear in a short period of time, so you just use the high curve boost that you get with a Panther. and I crashed. Didn't manage to do it on time. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you practice a bit more with this kind of curves with a Panther. So there we go. That's basically just a curving technique, and of course it takes a lot of practice. A lot of times I just go flying off the road if I miss one up gear. Alright guys, thanks for watching.